Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Who's Podcast, episode 55. We got we're welcoming back Sharetta. So thank you, Sharetta, for joining us. You got myself, Ty Xeros. King is back and just bringing everything for the ladies. Y'all know our host, and today we got our special guest, Michelle. So we're gonna start off with her. Tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Michelle J. Jones. I'm a published author of Dear Reader with Love. That actually started out as a journey. I was just going to go ahead and write my memoir, and I was talking to someone who's very close to me, and they're like, no, you should do a prelude. I was like, a prelude? They were like, yeah, do a prelude. And I was like, okay, cool. So I just started to look at all my poetry, my short stories, my soapbox speeches, but I also wanted to do a different type of book. So I wanted to engage and interact with the reader. So I was like, well, I'll just write love letters throughout the book and we can talk and discuss as if I was there. I was born with osteogenesis imperfecta, which is a brittle bone disorder. So I have broken my bones 50, 60, 70 times. I've had 13 different surgeries. I have telescopic rods, all that great stuff. And I was born this way. Right. So in the book of Jeremiah, it says that before before you were born, I knew you. So it was by God's design to have me have this. So it's just it's been a journey of recovery. It's been a journey of trying to put things together. But the good thing is throughout the process of writing Dear Reader with Love, it has went into some other projects, which I'm really proud of.
Awesome. Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you for sharing that with us. So before we get into this meat and potatoes, let's start with Sharetta. Man, how have you been? We missed you.
I've been really good. I missed you guys too. I missed y'all so much. I just really needed to get my life together, and it was. And it's good to be back. I actually have a little bit more free time right now. I am not working currently because of a knee injury. I fell down the stairs, so.
But I thought you was in the NBA.
Oh, well, we're glad to have you back next week.
Like in athletic.
Yeah, I was actually about to send out the search party for you next week because I was like, where are you?
Yeah, well, that's why I'm happy to be back because I missed y'all and I knew I kind of went MIA for a while. But yeah, so I'm doing better and I'm happy to be here.
What about you, King? How have you been?
Oh man, I've been fantastic. I've been in Atlanta for a while, doing photo shoots, trying to get my photography more serious. We shot Johnny Blaze yesterday, and some other clients. Yeah, I'm just learning, sitting with my mentor, having fun.
Nice.
That's great.
What about you, Smooth?
I'm okay. I'm alive this morning. That's a good thing.
First and foremost.
I'm alive. Good boy, man. I met up with my friends that I hadn't seen in a while, and needless to say, you know what I'm saying, we were drinking, and I thought I was good when I woke up, and then halfway down the road, man, literally on the freeway, I had to pull over. on the freeway.
Well, you were still drunk?
I thought I wasn't. I felt great. I felt regular. I had to pull over to the side.
We're on live.
I say, yeah, dude. You supposed to say no.
I don't know if that is your friend because
you need to throw a disclaimer out there.
Nah, he was fine.
Hey, don't do what I do. Don't do what I do. Do as I say. Don't do it.
No, he was just sick. He was drinking more. He just he needed to drink more water, eat more food. His upset stomach.
Diarrhea.
Homebrew with Smooth does not condone drunk driving. We just make
All right. Okay, so Michelle, do you want to take us through your first poem?
Yes. Did you yeah, sure, I can. How I'm going to share today 3 different poems. The segment is called Life, Love, and Legacy. So I have a poem that goes along with each a part of the segment today.
Mm-hmm.
So the only life that I know to start out with is my own. But just starts as my childhood. That's a lot of things start, but here I go. It's called I Remember. I remember the days when I only had a pen and a piece of paper, laid up in a room left to build fantasies on blank walls, staring at ceilings like they were in Dolby Digital, in the hospital being confined to casts with chairs and crutches. I built my own creations. I remember drawing, writing, and doodling all sorts of things to keep my young mind from running. People visited. No one could stay with me forever. Dad had to work, mom had to gain freedom, family had lives and their own little ones to guide. But I remember being happy. I was my own driver to my steamboat, whistling and riding, painting lavish pictures with my words and my rhymes. I was the queen, and sometimes I could not even move a finger. Looking back on those days, I am reminded what true happiness and strength is. It is when your body and your spirit lives, even when it may be withering. It is when you decide to focus on what you can do and not putting all your energy in what you cannot. It is when you decide to breathe in new oxygen by God's grace. It's funny, but I remember the younger me before life decisions twisted me, that I was happy just being me. So that is what will strengthen me. I remember.
Yes. Come on, Queen. Come on.
Yes.
Wow. Powerful.
Yeah, that was
powerful, relevant.
Envision like images from that while she was speaking.
Yeah, I could see it though. Like that's the part. Like I was like, oh yeah, I'm in there. I'm there. Like I was with you. Like as you was going through all of that. Like, man.
Thank you.
You definitely gave the reader a chance to connect. Because from the way you worded it, you could connect your own life with that. Even if someone wasn't necessarily dealing with that specific challenge, they can connect their own challenges to that when they're stuck in a moment and they're looking at a blank wall and trying to figure out and imagine what their life is going to look like. So
yes, totally. Dear Reader with Love is dedicated to my friend Kiana Sands Freeman. She passed, but she has transcended, and I like to think of her being in a new body, and maybe she has a new name, but she had lupus and she had congestive heart failure, and every day that's like I had a disability that I was born with. Life wrote a disability into her life. So we knew the struggle. We knew what it felt like to give up. We knew what it felt like for people not to really understand, how could we be in chronic pain? Like, how could we be going through this? And I was in and out of the hospital as a child very frequently, but she was in and out of the hospital as an adult very frequently. So it's like we just exchanged things from life. And we went to high school together. Shout out to Forest Park High School, all the way in Forest Park, Georgia. But that's where we started, and that's why I also got into the advocacy work that I do. It's because being disabled is it's tricky, and I don't think people can always know what that is like. I think I commend people who are people who are born with genetic disorders. Like, I'm gonna hold you down, but people who have full mobility, this full bright life. And I think about, the soldiers that come back and they left full mobility, but they come back and now they're confined to a wheelchair. That whole psychological process is so different than being born with something. So I commend everyone who is a part of that disability community, trying to hold it down, trying to figure out their lives, and not allowing it to be an excuse why you cannot do the things you want to do.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, I guess I'll go. I thought it was very powerful, very captivating. I liked the fact that you're dedicating it to your friend based on your experiences. But like Retta said, anybody could go interject, there in it. And there's something that even if you're not disabled, even if you have no genetic disposition, you can still go ahead and put yourself in there, and it's like focus on what you can do, not what you can't. And I think even little kids could go and learn from that. And I think so. Like to their poem, it's especially if people are like young readers, it's generational. You could go into it, learn from it, take it from it what you want, and make your life better, and and enhance your life. And that's what really, really stood out to me on that one too. It's you can take it any way you want to, and you could be the best person, or you just be having a bad day, or hey, you know what, like you missed the bus. So you're able to miss this, don't focus on what you're missing, what you can't do. Focus on what you can do, which is, hey, if you can't go to the bus, or you can't go wherever, I'm gonna go to the park with my friends, over here and skateboard, like for kids. And that's really what I took from it too. Like it fills so many aspects of anybody's life, and that's what makes it so that anybody could connect if you really get the words. And it's easy to just put yourself in there too.
Thank you. You just blessed me. A lot of times I understand that, one population can understand or one community can, but when I see that my poetry can just be fluid amongst people, period. That's really big for me. So thank you.
Oh, it's well written, well received, and as I said, and that's what me just listening to it from the first time, so not even reading it, and I can say, hey, this reflects me. This reflects, a child. This reflects coworkers and everything. Like you could really put anybody's situation in there too, and just to say, keep looking up, keep pressing. You're good. I was actually my friend Anthony. I was texting him before the pod, and he was like, oh, I'm jealous of this, and he's been feeling down lately because of everything that he can't do. And that's exactly what I told him. Think about what you can do, and then you read this poem, and it's like that's it. And so I thought of him and his situation too. So like I wanted him to read this and like, hey, read this and take in from it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And that's good. Basically, like it just makes you feel more grateful for the things that you do have going on in your life, because like I thought about how irritating it was, because like when I first tore the ligaments in my knee, like I had to have people to drive me to my physical therapy and my appointments, help me get groceries. My dad had to come in town for a few days to just like eat and cook for me, help me move around the house. And the first few days, I was so irritable. And then after a few days, I was just like, you know what, man? Like I'm sounding super ungrateful right now because where this may be frustrating and hard for me to deal with, this is temporary. There are people that their entire life revolves around trying to set up a schedule for other people to have to come in and help them. And, I know they probably feel possibly like a burden, or that they're in other people's way of them doing their own thing. And it really challenged me to be grateful for the people that did want to come support me. And when someone said, do you need help? It was hard, but I had to be like, yes, I do need help. And it just made me realize that I had a different appreciation now for just how quickly things can change, but then also how small of an adjustment, something like that can impact your life. And then just be happy that it was temporary, and to think about that whenever I do start to feel ungrateful about small things.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's like the real thing, right? Like you every day getting up, being able to take yourself places, and then you're like dependent on people, and it's like, okay, is this person gonna show up? How dependable are you? Are you gonna help me out? Like it's a whole thing. It's like you really see who's a part of your circle,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So King, I guess it's your turn to give these thoughts.
So for me, it just reminds me of the thing that we have in the military. I know you two up top understand the concept of hunt the good stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
resiliency, right? That's kind of what it reminds me of. A lot of times, like you spoke about, guys going overseas and then coming back with certain disabilities. So for me, it's knowing, even though you're in certain situations, there are always good things that you can pull from it. And I don't want to mess up your name, Sharita said, there's always
Sharetta, it's okay. Everyone does it.
there's always something
Byron is a child.
Yeah, so resiliency was the message for me. Something that
Yeah, resiliency is so important. Like, and it goes back to what Trills was saying. Like, I gotta go to work, and I can't procrastinate. The alarm clock is getting up. Okay, now I gotta get on the bus. Now I gotta do this. Like, everyday things, it's a choice, right? And everybody goes through a battle. Everyone goes through a situation that can really be like, man, I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna sit on this couch. I'm gonna do nothing. But then it's say like, you know what? Boom. Okay, I got it. Boom. Okay, I got it. Oh, got knocked down. Oh, I'm getting back up. Oh, I got knocked down. Oh, I'm coming back. Like that has to do with grit. It has to do with resiliency, and it also has to do in your belief system, in yourself. And also, I love to say, love God, love yourself, and love one another. Because this life is not always going to be easy. It's a beautiful life. Oh my God, it's a beautiful life. But it's not always going to be easy. And you got to depend on those three different things: God, yourself, and sometimes others. And not only that, is if you have not love, you have not God. So when people say, oh, I have God, okay, but you don't love even the hardest person people to get along with, and you don't try, it's like, okay, even that takes resiliency. Our relationships that we build, that takes resiliency. Because some people are like, I can't rock with that. But then you get over that hurdle and you're like, oh, okay. All right, you're a pretty dope person. Yeah, I love that.
Yep.
So come on, Smooth, give us your thoughts, your appreciation for this.
Oh my, okay. So for me, like basically, so like for life in general, like you're always gonna have, like, for me, it was just like the mindset of like you're always gonna have your setbacks, your shortcomings, and sometimes, you know what I'm saying, everybody's starting point is different. Sometimes you start out with mountains, you know what I'm saying? Like you start out like you got a full cliff to climb. Like you don't start out like just on a level playing field with everyone else. But it just shows that you can persevere through every situation, and when you get to the other side, be a better person, be a stronger person for it. And definitely, like, like she said, like she was saying, like, like God can get you through like anything, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're a spiritual person, if you're a religious person, you know what I'm saying, or whatever your religious thing is. But at the same time, it's just like getting that mental toughness for yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like focusing on you and just like really honing in on yourself, because a lot of times people get so focused on the external, getting those external motivators, when that eventually it'll run out, you know what I'm saying, those external motivators, or it's not going to be as thrilling, you know what I'm saying, the next time you get that, you know what I'm saying, that I don't know, that 50 likes on a picture or whatever, you know what I'm saying, or whatever you're trying to do, you know what I'm saying, to like build whatever, like it doesn't hit the same the next time. And the next time and the next time, you're always chasing another higher high, you know what I'm saying? But if you can get it down internally, you know what I'm saying, that, you know what I'm saying, this is what you want to do, this is how your life is, and how you want it to inspire you, how you want to inspire yourself, you'll continue to just grow and push on. Yeah, that's how I want to end that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I do. I have two poems that I think about. That one is called The Invisible Wall. The other one is called Anyone Can Change the World. But it does start with a movement inside of yourself. I am into inclusive. Like, I don't care like what color, creed, religion. God's beauty is manifested through so many different things. I do yoga. Yoga is like my church. And I know when I was first doing yoga, I was like, you know, I have a Pentecostal background. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. I really like yoga, but I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing this. And I had to research it, and I had to talk to family, my cousin about it. My cousin was like, dude, if you praise God during yoga, it's okay. And I was like, thank you. Because God manifests himself to people in so many different places, so many different ways. And you got to have something internal. You got to have it, you know, and yoga creates that core, that foundation. Each pose does something to open you up to healing, to people, that's my thing for me. But without prayer through in yoga and everything else, like Michelle is all right, but Michelle within God, she's pretty dope.
I guess before we go to your next poem, and I would just have to say kind of what you said too. You have 4 different people who do 4 different things. So you got a content creator, registered nurse, photographer, and a personal trainer, and we all took in different aspects of your poem and pretty much are in agreement. So that just definitely shows the reach that that your words have.
Thank you. You know, I'm always trying to build my confidence up as a writer, because as a writer, you stay in your head so much. Oh my gosh, you stay in your head. And so when I started this project, I started writing years ago. I've always written, but I've never had the confidence to share my stuff. So now that I've went through this rebirth, this awakening, right? Just to hear that and to hear the different facets of life you each represent, and that you took something away from it, that opens my mind up to so many other things. And I thank you guys for that feedback.
So with that being said, let's go on to your next one, so we could give you more praise and you give us more enlightenment.
No. I don't even look at it like that.
No, I personally I love it because it's opening. I know for me, I'm not gonna speak for everybody else. It's opening up my mind. So,
awesome sauce. I am. So do we feel like we've talked about life enough, and that we want to get into love, or do you want another life? Tell me how the crowd feels tonight.
I'm done.
Go ahead, Alan. Go ahead.
Let's go with some love. I like love.
You like love?
I like love.
All right.
I love love.
Red is here, so
love?
I'm all about the love. When Red is here, I'm feeling extra love. So
okay, so I have one that it doesn't talk about the interaction between a man and a woman, but I think that it will lead into good conversation. I am still doing some healing in the area of interacting and expressing myself. I do have one poem which would just throw off the vibe, so I'm not going to do that one, but it is about love and it is about relationships, and I think we'll enjoy it. I'm trying to scroll through right now, trying to find it. It should be easy. Just one moment.
If you had gotten to meet some of the other members, they probably would have been for the one that was going to rock the boat, because some of them are a little toxic.
Yeah. They are. Yeah. The toxic committee is not on today.
You know who you are.
The toxic committee is not on today.
And you'll have to and you'll have to forgive me. I know that a lot of spoken word artists and a lot of poets, they know their stuff. Their memory recall is so great, right? Well, I've been through other traumatic experiences where I kind of depend on a writing apparatus or something to help me out, because I can know the words, but then I'm like, my mind goes somewhere else. So thank you for being very inclusive in this environment. I appreciate that. All right. So it's called I Am a Good Woman. The phenomenal woman is what I strive to be. I wear my pearls with pride. I get finer each year. Being the type of woman they talk about in the book of Proverbs is my mentality. I might walk with a slight lip, but ooh, child, my big brown eyes will bring you in. I will bless you by kissing you on the forehead and whisper to the Lord to give you favor amongst all men. I've been through the fire. I have a few scars, but my ashes have transformed me into a very beautiful person. I won't sow seeds of strife or intentionally be negative. I will ask you what your dreams are and stand by your side until you make it a reality. I am here to enhance the joy you already found before you met me. Don't worry about getting up from your seat when you need something to eat. I gladly will bring you your plate. I will cook you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but not on Thursdays. That's my yoga day. I can't pour out love if my love bank is empty. Don't be mad when I need to spend time with God. He must always remain first. I'm healing from the inside out, and I couldn't be me without him. I'm a good woman. From sun up to sundown, I won't pay other men any attention. I will show you respect by declining their invitation. No one can buy the level of loyalty I plan to give you. I will do my part to keep us on track. When I go shopping, I won't even go over our budget. I realize clothes and purse cannot compare to being financially secure and being ready for our retirement. Some days you will frustrate me, and some days you might frustrate me. As long as you don't harm me or try to break me, I will give you a round of applause each day. I am a good woman. I am an imperfect replica of my mother. I admire the spirit of Deborah, Maya, and Zora. I won't compete against other women. I'll just confidently walk away. I am ambitious and goal-oriented, but I need words of affirmation from time to time. Now, if you can handle the words mutual submission, you will find that I will mature to be a great woman. So I'm already a good woman.
Okay.
Yes, queen.
All right, Retta.
At the budget.
Do you want to go first?
Budget.
Do you want to go first, or do you want to go last on this one, Retta? Because I feel this one, because I'll give the experience of my own experience and kind of what we talked about the pod. So I want to give you the shake if you want to go to bring it home, or do you want us to go first?
It doesn't matter if y'all want to speak on good women in those lives and all of that. I can go last. I don't care.
All right. So Retta will bring us home. So go ahead, Smooth. Start us off.
What? Okay. No. No, but oh man, I didn't even have my thought formulate. All I had was just jokes ready to go. Like,
all right, I guess I will.
So for the poem itself, great. So I'll start there. That was a great poem. And all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the parts that touched me, you know what I'm saying? Like you was cooking, you know what I'm saying? You was that's my jokes though. See, that's my jokes though. Still, look. No, but
women do still cook. I know there's some women out there that but there's women out here that cook. My mama taught me right, and my daddy taught me how to cook.
Right. I'm well aware that there's still women out here that cook, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know what I'm saying, like not spending over the budget, you know what I'm saying? Not, you know what I'm saying, like mutual submission and stuff. Like I'm sold. Like I was sold like way back, like in the middle of the poem. I was sold. Like the moment I did this now, I said, oh yeah. I'm in here. This sounds great. This sounds good to me.
I think you bought a ring during your poem. Man, listen, but to be so we're just
I'm just giving my thoughts on that. Like, we can go give our thoughts. Everybody give their thoughts on the poem. Then we can go into an actual conversation about the women in our lives and all that other stuff. But I yield the floor.
All right. I said I loved it because you're talking about, kind of your experience, your expectations, and everything. You're stating what you say in the beginning. I might not be perfect, but this is everything I have to offer. I want to go ahead and take care of you. I want to take care of us. But I'm also want to go and provide for my future and our future on that one too. The kind of what we were talking about before, the whole mutual submission, which has been a topic that we've been on many podcasts before too. This is actually the best. You explained it better than we all could, and we spent many hours discussing that whole thing. So, like, I think you should just come on more often because, like I said, you're right with words, and to make it so it doesn't sound bad, it doesn't denigrate one part of the relationship was amazing. But and I just liked everything that you're saying. It's like, hey, I'll be confident in myself as long as you give me those words of affirmation to give me that reason to be. Because even though I know what I am, I know what I could do. It's so nice to hear. It's so nice to do this. And if you do this, I will forsake other people. Trust me with that too. And then at the same time, I will give you, I'll give you the same and not be, and not deal with the entailings of other people. But if you mess up, I know my worth, and I'm out of here as well too. Mm-hmm. So I really do. You covered everything too. It's almost like a handbook for what to aspire to be. And it's, hey, take care of people, but also take care of yourself. You're able to do both also, and then also hold your partner accountable. So it was well written, well worded. That's actually something I'd want, so I could go side by side. And if I have a daughter, this is what I would give her this, and like, hey, because this explains it better than I could ever explain it to you. Because I could give you the guy's point of view too. But it's not about what guys are looking for. This is what you should be, and this is why.
So King,
yeah. So when you first came out with the title, I was like, oh man, I don't know where it's gonna go. I don't know if it's gonna go to the strong independent, need a man to, and then when you started talking, I was like, oh, okay, let me listen more. Because you described a lot of qualities and traits that a lot of modern women don't have and really don't want. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely something that I can get behind. These qualities are definitely, what I aspire to look for in a wife, right? So it was a good listen. I really like the poem.
Yeah, I think Smooth King and I this whole time we all went online and bought you a ring because that was just. I know I was on Tiffany's. I think Smooth was on K's. I don't know what Smooth. I don't know. We were like.
Man, listen, man. I was hitting up my good friend. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man. I was
in the gym. You ain't even realize it,
man.
Oh, hey, Retta.
Listen, I was calling the Sheik. Like, I was like, look, I need my plug, bro. I need my favor. I need my favor. I'm calling the Godfather. I'm like, hey, I need my one. It's my one. I need this ring, bro.
All right, Retta, bring us home.
You asked me this on the day of my daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to collect my thoughts more. So I really was excited about this poem because I'm not coming for you when you said this, but when you said I am a good woman, I immediately knew. I was like, she's about to discuss the qualities of what you would consider a good woman to be. I didn't kind of think the opposite way. So that would have shocked me. But I mean, and Byron and Alan can attest to this. I feel like it hits home for me because I I do have a lot of not so popular now qualities as those. And it feels good to hear them talked about in a positive light because when you are having conversations with other women sometimes in society, or you see different posts on Facebook and you want to get into discussion, you see this whole thing, girl, couldn't be me. I would never. And that's why you never going to be married, because there are certain things that you have to be willing to do and compromise. But on the other hand, it also hits home because you also run a huge risk of your cup becoming empty. And not to get too personal, but that's kind of what happened in my past relationship. I'm always the person that is a giver, and I pour into my friends, into my relationships 1,000%, because we need that. We need that support and that encouragement and that love. That's a human trait. And I know that God has never given up on me. And if I'm going to be more like him, I need to have those type of examples and behaviors in my relationships, in my friendships. And so that's kind of, why I hit home, because in my past relationship, I kind of got to the point where my cup did get empty. And this person wasn't able to replenish it. And it was very unfortunate, but that is a risk that you run when you are trying to build in a relationship. But I know one thing that I've always prided myself in, which I love the things that you were saying, because when you know who you are in God, it doesn't matter what type of heartbreak or issues you may go through, you'll always be grounded in yourself. And my friends always joke like, you're just so up, how are you at this age so encouraging and upbeat and positive about life? And I'm like, yeah, I've been through stuff. I've been through a lot of stuff, but it doesn't, I'm never going to let that kill my joy. And also it was exciting because I wanted to be like, yes, yes, queen, because I get that. It felt encouraging to hear another woman talk about those types of things, because sometimes it is discouraging. Like I hear people say all the time, like, because I'm not like that dating or anything, but like, I hear people say like, dating out here is ghetto right now. And I hear like the stories from my friends, and I'm like, I literally just had a conversation with my dad last night. He was like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, watching TV. And he was like, are you going to hang out with any of your friends? And I was like, well, my friend Brenda, she might come over after work, but he was like, I wish that she would hang out with you more. And I was like, Daddy, I like being alone. And he was like, oh, that's so unhealthy, blah, blah, blah. Like, he was just so worried because I enjoy being by myself. And he just worried that I'm not going to be with anybody. And, so, but when you know that you don't want to settle and you have those type of qualities, you don't see being alone as a punishment. Because being here in my own space and being at peace is way better than just being able to say that I have someone. And when it was just reminded, it was just good to be reminded that there are other women out there that have those qualities and that hold them proudly. Because I see guys all the time, like on social media, like, man, these girls today don't cook. And that still blows my mind. Like, how do you not, like, nothing, you can't boil no water, nothing. Like, it doesn't, I can't comprehend. I can't comprehend that.
Well, we need to get together and do like a cookbook 1-on-1 for like simple meals for the new.
Yes. Yes, at least a little bit, so he can at least impress the guy, a little bit. Like, look, get you boil some water, throw a little seasoning in there so at least smell good, and then
For me, it's not even impressing the guy.
Butter and margarine.
No, for me, honestly, it's not impressing the guy. It's how do you not know how to take care of yourself? And I think that's where that's where I liked it so much, because it says I could do this for myself as like that too, and I can also do this. And I think kind of like what we're talking about with the modern woman, they think it's one way or the other, and it's kind of like and it's kind of like you could do both, and that's why I loved it, because on Michelle's poem, it's stating I'm not going to be in the antiquated ways because times are changing, but I could evolve with it, but I could still hold on to these ideals that makes me special and that makes us special. And for lack of a better term, not even gender roles, but still be nurturing too. And I think that's something that's missing, because it's and kind of like what I know King and Smooth and even Retta, we talked about it before. A lot of times it's one way or the other, and that's one of the reasons why I respect Retta so much, because she's like, I can take the challenge to do both because this is what I want to do and I can do it, and not even like that I'm supposed to do it. It's like I want to do it.
I mean,
right.
I think,
and that's powerful in the sense of everything. That's really powerful what she's saying, because people do try to judge you for those things, but you're right. It doesn't have to be like that traditional gender role, but it's also possible, because it's dangerous to be able to take care of yourself and not necessarily need someone. Is dangerous. And I felt that when she said that, I want to add to your happiness, because you want a partner that's already whole in themselves and happy in themselves. But it does make it harder, because especially when you get older, your priorities change. So, a guy that's texting what you're doing or good morning, beautiful, or whatever, like that's not going to intrigue me as someone who is able to, lead and plan something. Cause I can take care and pamper myself, but are you going to add quality to my life? Can I learn something from you? Can you lead me into something, and I think that it kind of has a two-way street in the things that she's saying, because it sets Michelle, I feel like your poem set the tone for the type of men you are wanting to attract. And it will, hopefully scare off the wrong kind. I was out one time with some friends, and this guy, he tapped me, and he was like, hey, how you doing? And I turned around, I was like, hi, hello. And he was like, I can already tell by the way you sound, it's just not gonna work for me. He completely walked off. He gave up immediately. Not even kidding.
I need to come to Nashville, honey.
Not even kidding.
Wait. Hold on. Because you responded positively, you said, hi, how you doing?
It's probably her energy.
And I don't know if
Thank you. King just said it. King just said it. She can read energy. There's people out there can just like sum you up real quick.
And it shocked me, but I was like, thank you for not wasting my time, because I wish more people were brutally honest like that. You know what? I don't even have the energy to put in to be the type of man you are looking for, so I'm gonna go ahead and head out. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. That's just wild to me, though. I was like, I already see where this is going.
I'm gonna go ahead and head out.
So yeah, I really love that, Michelle, and it makes me feel seen. So I love that.
Oh, that is beautiful. I want you to be seen. I want you to be heard. I want you to be present. All those things. Being a female, I'm going to get to the guys. I'm going to talk to y'all too. But being a female, I don't think that society really understands, number one, the pressure that we go through. It's a different type of pressure that men, go through. You're 25, 26. Where's your husband? Where are your kids? Why does all that have to define me? Like, is that the only thing I'm good for? I'm good for other things.
Yes.
I have a poem called The Real Woman. And it talks about thinking about women in a larger perspective than just child rearing and having kids. Like, women do all kinds of things,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but we shouldn't be confined to that, I focused on my career. I mean, I'm not done yet. I still want to do other things, but I'm 28 now. And so now that I've already established 2 degrees, people are like, oh, she did it the right way. She has 2 degrees. She's established on her own. Now, where is the husband and the kids? And it's frustrating, because you're like, especially being down south, it's odd that, especially down south, a woman doesn't really hold value.
Oh, my bad.
Sorry. He's giving us all this eye candy, and we're like, yeah, okay, girl.
The fact that how Retta stopped, that was hilarious.
I just wasn't expecting that.
I'm so sorry.
See, that's
listen. I'm trying to
join King. Oh, Trill said he's gonna take it off.
It just threw me off because, sir. But you know what? It's gone. I don't even know what I was saying.
This is it. Like, well, I think I will kind of try to pick up. And I'll put it the way I was saying it too. I think unfortunately, it's not so much as what people will say, because you're saying that like you're doing it the right way. And I think no matter what you do, people will hate on you for doing it one way or the other. Because I think now, and I see it both ways. If you have kids too early and then you don't do anything and you're a housewife, other people talk down to you about it that way. Mm-hmm. If you go ahead and you you focus on your career, you get your degrees, you get that. Oh well, then she's not married.
I think that's what I was gonna say. Especially down south, we have a bad like mindset that I see down here often, where a woman isn't seen as valuable until she is actually married.
Yeah.
That's what my poem was about. Girl, you gotta check that out. I think you would appreciate it. But I kind of like what Truls was saying as well. Like, when we look at that value, whose story and whose journey is this? This is mine.
Yeah.
So it's not a right way. It's not a wrong way. Because I mean, I've worked in nonprofits. I've been in early childhood education for almost 20 years. I have traveled. I have been a technical assistant. I've had sites in New York, Detroit. I've been on Native American reservations. Like, I've done so much career-wise, but ask me what I wanted with my life. Yeah. I wanted to be a stay-at-home wife. I never really, I can't say that, oh my goodness, I always knew I was going to be a poet. Oh my goodness, I always knew I was going to be I knew I wanted to write children's books, which I have wrote one children's book, and I have some more coming down the pipeline. Nice. But I wanted to be at home taking care of my babies and taking care of my husband. I thought that was cool. And I had moments of my life where I tried to get that. I tried, but it didn't work out like that. And I had to say, okay, Michelle, admit defeat and figure out what your life is going to look like, what you're going to stand for. Because my worst fear is my parents, leaving this life and not knowing that I'm self-sufficient. No, like, I don't want my parents to carry that burden. I want them to gotta worry about Michelle. I don't want that. I want them to see me as this beautiful, independent, and lovely person that they put so much energy in. So when it's their time to go, honey, they can go and be with the Lord and not worry about down here.
Yeah. Well, I think and I'll finish my point I was making. I know.
I'm sorry.
I
felt that so much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I think this is where I know I can speak for Smooth because we talked about it. Kings probably experience it a little bit too as well. It's that unfortunately, and I've seen it in the African American community, the Black community, and as well as women. If you go online and lurk through boards, just because you're not doing the journey their way, and if you find success, but they always try to take away from what you're not doing. And I know I deal with that all the damn time, just in the Black community, where it's like, I'm not Black, I'm not doing this because I'm doing things that's kind of outside the community. And then, especially depending on where you come from, if you better yourself, either way, they try to take away from that too. And I see that with women as well, because you have these independent women who are able to do a lot of things and they go with a career. And then it's sad that other women attack them for saying, well, you're not married. And then, or vice versa, and it's like, oh, because by perception outside looking in, because we don't know, because we're not that person, they might have it easier because they did get the husband, they're taking care of the kids, but the husband's doing that. We don't know how much work they put in. So then other women, they're attacking them as well because they're not doing the career. And it's kind of like, and I think not even as women supporting women, we all need to support each other. And that's like, even, as Black males, because I know Smooth and King, I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, we need to be able to support each other as well and not tear each other down. And I think women need to do that as well too. And it doesn't matter how you start the journey or the way you went through it. Is one, it's how you end, and two, it's how you affect the people around you and how you touch them. Because if you're a stay-at-home mom and you're bringing value to the world, Why am I going to tear you down to take away from that? Or vice versa. If you go like Retta, she's saving lives. That's her career. Why am I going to tear her down because she's not married and doesn't have kids right now? Because she's out there literally saving lives. So if someone is trying to talk talk down about her because she's not married, she's not engaged, she doesn't have 2 kids, they're a damn fool.
Services.
And then it's the same thing with King too, you know, since King, he's out there, you know, because he helps people, as we see from his sculpture, you know, he's out there and he's helping people, you know, better themselves in life and be healthy. So I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take him down because he's not out on the streets, you know. And then Smooth, you know what he's doing. You know, first of all, he deals with people's financial transactions to make sure people are okay, and they're able to go day to day. You know, and now he's creating content to bring people together. I'm not going to tear him down because he's not out on the street dribbling the ball, chasing the bag. And unfortunately, I think that's where we all agree that's what society does, and it's a damn shame.
You know, it's so crazy that you just said that. When I first got here, the first thing was like, "Oh, do you play ball?" I was like, "What? Like, why do you assume that I play ball?"
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of okay.
Yeah, and to pivot into that for the men, you're right. It is kind of the same way. Like, there's been this, especially right now, currently, there's been that debate online about men aren't valuable in the household unless they're bringing in what I think the discussion was about, like men aren't seen as valuable unless they're bringing in like money or bring a certain amount of money, and if they aren't doing that, then they aren't a good man or valuable. And I think that could be, just really a poor way to look at things because no one just came home or came out of college making money. Like you are looking for a man who has it together, top tier. They forget that we all once were, building ourselves, trying to establish.
Yeah.
Like the goal is not to have your hair nails done, but the goal is to have a resourceful man. If we go down today, are you going to have my back like I'm going to have your back? Are you going to figure out, hey, we had an issue come up. Don't worry about it. I don't want you to stress about anything. I'll get it figured out. So that's not to say that you're super rich, but you're resourceful and have the mentality to figure out how to solve our household issues.
But see, I think that you bring up a good point though. We are not taught what the word resource means. I know a lot of us in different, like when you think of socioeconomic status, I'm not just saying the Black community. I'm talking about the socioeconomic status of those who are in middle are in poverty. We're not taught that your resources is your network. Your resource is the people who you went to school with. We're not taught that our resources are gifts, our talents, our traits, our natural abilities. Those are resources. We're not taught that having a mind that is critical and able to brainstorm and not everyone can think critically. That is a resource. If there's so many different mediums and so many different pipelines of being resourceful. And I really wish that, we had more conversations around that. Realize your gifts, your talents. You may not always have the money, but honey, if you get on like King, like he's all buff, but I'm sure at some point it was just, I want to take care of my body. I want to make sure that I'm looking right. And then from there, he was like, hold on, I figured out something. Now let me go share this with other people. Right. The same thing with his photography. He's doing his photography. And then it came to, I can turn this into a business. That's the type of mindset that we have to start to look at, because sometimes we're not going to be put in those circles where we can get the $65,000, the $75,000, the $100,000, the $200,000 salaries. Those doors have tight gatekeepers. I'm not saying that we can't not do it, because our melanin pops every day. But I'm saying you have to look at it a little bit differently until you can get into the rooms where you want to get into.
Right.
Definitely.
Facts.
I love that.
I'm going to show like a short, like a really short story. I learned very early on that a man has value. Number one, I have a great father, and he just is amazing. But that's not how I knew it. And working in early childhood education, I had a toddler classroom, and I had about We had about 12 and 13 kids in that room. And me and this co-teacher, we were trying to get all the kids quiet, all the kids together. Honey, the after-school teacher walks in and he just says, all right, y'all, it's time to sit down. And these little things just start sitting down. I was like, I know this just did not occur. I was like, they don't even know him. And they just start sitting down and they all looked at him like, okay, tell us what to do next. And I said, my goodness. So throughout my career, I have studied and have observed how men interact with children and how children respond. If these little creatures, come on, they're like, what, 365 days old at 1 year old? They're like, what, like 800 days old? I mean, come on. And when they're talking, that is not that much time on earth. But for them to look at men, see their authority. I need men to see their authority too. If a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old can see you, honey, baby, if you don't see yourself, you need to fix it.
Amen.
People are watching you, and you carry a level of authority that you may not even understand that you have. But trust me, if you figure out what's inside, honey, I'm telling you, you'll be a blessing. Blessing to yourself, blessing to your family, and blessing to others.
The way you command a room.
Definitely. Wow, I think this is cathartic.
Oh my gosh, Michelle, I want to hug you. I
want to hug everybody.
You made so much sense. I want
to hug everybody right now except King, because I don't think I'll reach around him. I'll be like,
I'll just acting real different.
Acting real unusual. Oh man.
Oh, y'all play too much.
All right.
Okay. You can send me a hug. Send me a donated children's book so I can give it to another child.
Yes.
Hey, you can send me a hug for that.
So actually, after you go over your last poem, actually, we want to do that. We want to be able to plug in where we can support you and everything too.
Please.
So
because my mother is in early childhood as well, and so I love that you spoke about that. She's an early childhood specialist.
I love it. Okay, so I think that we really talked about, I was going to do the invisible wall, but I feel like we're in a place where we have mutual agreement on seeing people for more than what they are. Yeah. So when we talk about legacy, I'm going to go into a meal is not just a meal. And that's in two different places. So let me get there, because I didn't know which way we were going to go with this. And I wanted to be prepared in both ways, because sometimes you got to make sure that you are feeling and reading the energy and knowing which way you need to go. So just one moment. You guys can continue to talk. Give me a little beep, 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 beep.
All right. Well, okay. I'll do a shameless plug right now. So, I want to say thank you for joining, Homeroom with Smooth with us today. Go ahead on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. Also on TikTok, we're on all sorts of social media. Come give the channel a like. Go look at some old videos. You can also
join the Discord. We
also have a Discord. Just come and join us. Be a part of this. We couldn't do this without you. So everybody watching, just go ahead and look at us. Also, we could go on at Ebony King on Instagram. Go support him in his adventures, photography, fitness. Also, look up the things that nurses do, because I don't want people to think that I'm being facetious. Retta is actually a hero, especially during these times, and not during these times as well too. So honestly, go ahead and give our nurses a shout out. If you can't, your local nurses, like go out in the community, go ahead and support them. With Delta coming back, we don't know what the future holds. They need to support not only when things are bad, but when things are good as well too.
Facts. So, bro, did you plug yourself, sir?
Oh no, I did not plug myself. But
he's such a selfless person. He was worried about everybody else before himself.
At Type X Thrills, you know what I'm saying? This guy is taking the best coaster pictures in the United States.
Photography on point.
Okay. At Type X Thrills on IG and everywhere else. Like this
roller coasters scare me. And when I look at his pictures, I don't feel as scared. I feel like I almost might get on that ride. Almost.
Like you'll walk up to the ride.
I'll pay my ticket, go into the park, but 9 times out of 10, I'll just end up holding everybody's jacket and purses.
Hey, but what I've definitely learned, especially with photography, though, I appreciated the park atmosphere more now instead of just the rides. So like my rankings and I love going with people because like today I'm going like to Knott's Berry Farms, and maybe it's me getting older, but also because I still love all the extreme rides, but me seeing the parks from a different lens now, and for lack of better terms, behind the lens, I see different things now, and it makes me get a new appreciation for parks at different places of how they run things. So I definitely love the atmosphere. So honestly, I could go to a park now just with some friends and not really go on much and still enjoy it.
Right.
That's fun.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
All right.
Without further ado.
A meal is not just a meal. A meal is not just a meal. It's an invitation to have a conversation. As the collard greens are passed around, you can feel the love from Big Mama. The cornbread is so fresh, the butter is melting as we speak. You won't have to choose between pork chops or chicken. It's Sunday. There is enough for all of us to eat. We sit there looking at each other. We haven't seen each other since the last funeral. Everybody looks so different. Today, no one sits at the kids' table. We sit next to each other and we won't use bad language. We are starting to understand that children need to hear more vocabulary than they are getting from YouTube and TikTok. Cousins from your mama and daddy's side are there. They didn't come just to eat. They came to do business. Over the years, they realized by staying divided that soon there would be no family unit. Like the vegetable medley that no one has touched, they never saw a need to be on each other's team. Black-eyed peas isn't just for New Year's. If we come together, we can create a real reason to cheer. We can celebrate each new year growing closer and closer instead of further apart. Our plates are garnished with ideas after ideas. If it stays in our heads, we won't ever be able to write a new family goal plan. We are all foreign to each other. This cousin knows that cousin. That cousin doesn't know that cousin. But the collard greens so is good. We can eat them as the main dish. Each one of us has a gift that if we draw out a map on a napkin, forget building our own empires. We could build a dynasty and a long-lasting bond. If fat meat ain't greasy, this union is going to be real tough. Tough to put egos aside. Unresolved issues will need a point of clarification. We might even look at we might even need a few interventions. Honesty and trust will be our centerpiece. Our faith in God and our faith in one another will be like the macaroni and cheese. It will have to come together to create a union. But we dining on food from Angelia's. So the food is better than good. It is the best. If we would just talk to one another, we could learn a lot. We cannot remain in our own silos. We all had our failures. We individual moments of success. This conversation isn't just about creating multiple pipelines of wealth, but it's also about putting our family back together. We need to get to know each other again. There is also a generation coming up. If we begin to teach all the children what we know, they will go from just saying please and thank you to yes, ma'am, thank you for your purchase. And no, sir, that stock is unavailable. Let's consider other marketable options. None of us knew any of that until we were adults. What would happen if they knew that when they were 7? We all came to eat. But a meal is not just a meal. It's an invitation. Sorry for messing up. That is one of my newest poems. So I'm sorry.
Oh, I got so
That's
much from
okay.
that one.
Yeah,
So
man. Like there was like, hold on, let me hit this button real quick. Boom. Okay, so we're back. Yeah, we're back. So, first thing I got was like it went through like the family dynamics of it. It went into like also like imparting like what Big Mama, or you know what I'm saying, your elders, basically your elders imparted into you, making sure that you impart that into the next generation, but also when you're imparting it into the next generation, that you're giving them more than what you got, and you're setting them up for greater success, because what you want to happen is that you guys build upon each other's successes. But then it also went and tied into the fact that, okay, the adult unit that we have now, like we should really work on bringing ourselves together, because if we did, we could probably get a lot further than going on all these separate journeys alone, you know. And like that village mentality, like it's almost like gone for like in some aspects, you know. Like everyone gets, you know what I'm saying, it's just like expected, oh, we're gonna get older, and you know what I'm saying, and we're just not gonna really speak that much, we're not gonna really see each other till it's like Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, you know what I'm saying. We'll stick to our like our little tight family, our immediate family unit, you know, and we'll talk and hear about each other when we see each other on Facebook, when there's a birthday or an accomplishment or something, like, and then that's it, you know what I'm saying. Like when we should have been a part of each other's lives the whole way, because when you go into like a lot of different other societies, like they're there with each other the entire way, you know. There's never a time when they're not with each other, you know what I'm saying. And even if you're not physically there, you know what I'm saying, at least a monthly phone call, you know what I'm saying. Like there's never a time where you're like, man, I wonder what's going on with so and so, like, and you just don't know at all, you know.
I guess they're okay. I haven't heard anything, so
yeah.
that must mean everything's great. Okay. I know recently what I've done with my nieces and my nephews, because I don't get to see them as often as what I would like. We have a group chat. So Luke is out in North Carolina. He is serving our country. You know, Jaden, she's at the U of A in college. Tatum, he's in Texas. Peyton and Jada Ray, they're here in Arkansas. But they're all so busy. They're not little babies anymore. They're not toddlers where I can like just go get them and let's go have auntie day. Like they have their own lives. So how do you stay connected with them when they're moving to so many different places? So our group text is like where we're there for each other. I remember like one of my nieces, you know, I'm not trying to embarrass my nieces. I'm not trying to put your business out there because Titi loves you. But one of my nieces, you know, she was first day of school and it was so many kids and she got on the group text and she was like, what do I do? And so we all helped her through it because she didn't, you know, she wanted to make friends, but you know, she didn't know what to do, but she did know what to do. So we were all just like, okay, do this, do that, do this. I mean, think about that in your moment of weakness. If you actually have a support system that can give you advice, not just advice of, oh, would it be all right, but strategies. This is how you do it. You go up, you walk up, say she has a nice shirt. Oh, say, you know, see where she got it from. See if that's someone you want to have a mutual interest with. Go from there. And like, we're all helping each other. And I think that you are so right. We have to get away from just like, I'm getting to the point where I don't go to funerals because I'm like, I don't want to remember people like that. That's just me. I have to deal with it when it comes. Like, but my thing is, why can't we be there for like not just graduations, but dang it, you know what? You haven't had any soda for a whole 30 days. I saw you on Facebook posting that, how you did the water challenge. You go ahead. Why does it have to be only the big things? Why can't it just be those little bitty baby steps? You know?
I said I won't go totally in there. I'll kind of answer that question too before I give it out to Sharetta. Unfortunately, I do think social media has kind of taken away from having those gatherings, because when people post the smaller stuff, you're able to see it. But now that it's been so oversaturated, because even like, you know, my family has it, and then I have as a thing now, I'm kind of off of Facebook. Like I have 600 friends in there because I'm on Facebook because of, you know, military, going around place to place, seeing people. But then your feed kind of gets diluted. So then it's like people, and then so that's the one thing I hate now. And I tell my family, it's like, oh, well, I put it on Facebook, and I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. That means like you don't care. But I do like how you hit it right on the head. It's like we need to have kids, and now even adults, learn stuff not from TikTok, not from YouTube, and I'll say not from Facebook, because I think in the beginning it was really, really easy, because when you didn't have tons and tons of friends on there too, your family would be able to go on there, you would see it, and you're like, oh, and you comment back and oh, I will see this. Now, like if I go on Facebook, especially because I don't go on it as much as I used to, I definitely do not see my family on there at all. So if they're posting stuff on there, I'm missing it. So kind of like you, my family, we kind of do have a group chat as well. So then my cousin, when she up in Northern California, she just had a kid, and she was posting stuff on there, and we're all going back and forth like for graduations and everything too, to try to fill that void too. But I think, unfortunately, kind of like I tell everybody, social media giveth and then it taketh away, because at first it gave us the ability to go reach our friends and family from different places, but then as it became more and more business oriented, because nothing's for free, and they're putting us up on there, so now you get the friends because people want to be influencers to make their money off of it, and now companies, they put their advertisements on there, so your feed gets smaller, more diluted, and you can't see kind of almost what really matters.
Right.
So, but what about you, Retta? What do you think before? Because I do have two stories. That's why I'm going last for this poem.
So I do agree with Alan specifically about the social media. For me right now, it still kind of works because I don't use. I'm on Facebook often, and because a lot of my family does now have it, it is a good way to keep in touch. I think my biggest concern though is like he's right, like you do kind of miss out on certain things because people think that once they put it on Facebook, that was like me notifying my family and my friends. It's not the same thing as a phone call or a text message. And me and my dad actually for the past couple of years have been talking about, he wants us to try to have some type of family reunion coming up, so that because there's so many cousins, especially on my dad's side, that I haven't met before, that I don't know, and I think that's one of my dad's biggest concerns. He's getting older, and he's just like, I just want you to be able to know who your family is before I'm gone, and I feel that because my mom's side of the family is a little bit smaller, and so there are only like a few people we keep in touch on that side. So my dad's family side of the family is kind of it, and I do remember growing up and him taking me to go see my family in Pine Bluff and in Stuttgart and having those family meals and, having my auntie say, well, if you're not going, because I was picky growing up, if you're not going to eat that, then you're just going to be hungry. You just, because I'm not making nothing else, and I miss those memories because, as you get older, everyone gets busy and you don't get to do those things as much. So I do feel like those are important to instill. And that's also one of the reasons why I do enjoy cooking, because I feel like cooking is a love language. And you can make those memories off of being able to make meals for your families and coming together over those meals. My Uncle Calvin, he has the Holman Community Center. And it's a community center that is in Stuttgart. And I love when my dad would be like, hey, your Uncle Calvin's having this at the Home and Community Center, or they're doing this, or that's where we're going to have the dinner. So let's go down to Stuttgart. And my dad always pushed for those things so that I could be around my cousins and my aunt and uncles on that side. And I appreciate that because he didn't just want me to see them only during funerals. So I do feel like that's really important. And I love how you talked about that because you're right. A meal can create a whole different dynamic in memory.
Oh yes.
Okay, so
that's smooth.
She stole my freaking segue.
Look, no, I just want to say, I just want to say though, it is very important to know your family members, so you don't end up marrying them. It's very important. Very important.
So you have a personal experience with that?
No personal experience. Is just saying. You know,
Sounded like it.
no. I'm. You know what I'm saying. I'm just saying. Like, it's very important that y'all get to know your family members, get to know your peoples. Don't be out here looking crazy. You know what I'm saying. You like, oh, that's your grandma too. Like, you don't want that. You don't want that. I don't have a personal experience, and I'm not gonna put that these two people in on blast, but yeah, that's really a real thing that happened.
Witness experience.
That's a
That
real
has
thing.
happened.
Hashtag true
Not you.
story.
Yeah, not you see,
True
not you
story.
saw not you see your sneaky link at the family reunion.
Yes, that's a real story. That's a real
Yeah.
story. Like, yeah.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't have any stories like that. I don't I guess the great thing is I've lived in so many different places. So many people don't. I don't have nothing like that tops any story I may have. The only other thing that I want, you know, when I look at my own family, you know, I look at my father. Like I say, I can cook, and when you're talking, oh, I'm cook for those meals, those big meals, I cook for everyday living. That's my cook because I come from a family of chefs. My father had his own restaurant. My father has done an amazing thing in the food industry. My brother, now, oh my Jesus, now he will lay a spread. So I come from people who really know how to throw down. But I have realized there are so many different things that I can learn from my father. When I have questions about business, I'm like, okay, Daddy, what do you think about this? You know, my brother is very charismatic and he is very jovial and he knows how to just have this energy that brings people into the room to want to eat his food, you know? So I'm like, okay, brother, I want to ask him so many questions, you know? But like, then I have an uncle. My uncle worked for the city of Little Rock for so long and I was outside of my apartment. And I ran into one of his employees or whatever the case may be. And his employee was telling me all this goodness about my uncle. And I was like, who? And I was like, he's like, yeah, that's my role model. And let me tell you why. And I was like, Uncle been hiding all this goodness over here. And he been sowing seeds I know nothing about. And then I have another uncle. You know, I like to consider them my dad and my two uncles the three kings because they really are like intelligent men. And then I have an uncle who's in Texas, and I'm like, I can text him when I was learning how to try to do stocks. I said, okay, how do I do stocks? What do I do? I don't know how to do it. He was just texting me back. Go here first, there. All right, I got a text question. What I'm gonna do with this? All right, Michelle, what you need to do? And like, you have to start looking at your family members past, oh, that's just Junebug. Because Junebug may be being in a basement building apps that you know nothing about, and that app is about to blow up, and you may have something that he needs to put into that app to make this app not only be national, but worldwide. People have got to stop looking at each other. Like, I believe that God designed families for a purpose, for a reason. Yes, a family unit to bring us up. Yes, a family unit to make sure that we are supported and taken care of. But I also believe there's a purpose, because if there wasn't a purpose in a family unit, he would not have spent so much time talking about genealogy. He would not have so much talking about how the 12 tribes were a family, but they each had their own function, but they all came together to learn from one another. I'm sorry. It's like it's time to do business. It's great. The collard greens, they're good. Angelia's is a real restaurant that's in Minnesota. My cousin Angel and her brother Dwayne own that. You know, Angel told her mother, and Angel has a great story, and I'll try to wrap it up about time. But Angel has a great story behind Angelia's. And, you know, now she's entrusting me to do her writing content for her childcare center because she has other businesses. And she's like, look, I got a graphic designer. I don't got time to write. I can write. Don't have time for it. How's your docket? Okay, girl, we move this around. Okay, I got you. Boom. Hey, are you comfortable with my prices? Not a problem. All right. Boom. Like, I mean, it's building wealth. It's looking at things differently. Even my apartment, I like it. It's cute. It's you know, it's whatever. It's cute. I want something different. However, my uncle owns that apartment. I'm going to stay put as long as I can because I realize I'm sowing seeds. Yes, I'm getting rent. Yes, I pay regular rent. Don't think any funny business is happening because my uncle is about his business. for real, especially from that story. Good goodness, Uncle. But I mean, we have to start looking at things differently. We just do. Like if we want to, it's 2% of the same people have been holders of the same wealth category for decades, for centuries.
Work as a family. And it makes us like look silly for not using our family to the utmost of its ability, you know, like connecting them together, because that's literally all they do. They just go, okay, this is what you're gonna do. This is how your life is, blah 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 blah. Do you accept the family, whatever? All right, great. Here's your job in company A. Then company B, this is your job. This is company C, and then they just spread out the wealth, spread out who owns what, you know, and then they just always are increasing their own wealth, like their families,
because they're willing to pour into each other. Yeah. And that's something that we've struggled with in the Black community for so long. You know, we're not going to be able to build that wealth until we change that mentality first of, yeah, you're my cousin, but when it comes to money, you're my enemy. You know, and also with the sense of how we build up our children. You know, I was coming from a physical therapy appointment the other day, and my Uber driver was talking about his son. He was like, oh, I just moved here. Me and my wife moved here to be closer to our son and our granddaughter. He's such a sweet boy. He has a great heart. So we just wanted to come support him in his music career. And the way he was talking about his son, I'm like, oh, you know, his son's probably like 20, 21. He's a single father because the mother didn't want to be a mother. So I'm like, oh, they're probably helping him because he's probably struggling, blah, 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 blah. But no, the father was like, yeah, I just want to, I believe in everything that he's doing. So I'm investing in him. We're retired. So and we just sold our home to move. So I have the money. And the man that was driving, he was white. And he was just saying all these, he wasn't saying like, yeah, my son's lazy. He needs to let go of music, blah, 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 blah. So finally I said, well, how old is your son? And he was like 30. And I said, your son is 30 and y'all moved down here to support him and invest in him. And I didn't look at it like, ugh. I was like, that is what I'm talking about. That is not one. He didn't say one negative thing about his son. He was encouraging. He said, my son has a great heart. He is a great young man. We raised him to be a great young man, and we're going to invest in him as long as we can. And his dad purposely was like, I didn't want him to have to sign over his rights to some type of music company that would take all his money. So I came down here and did it. And he said they just made 4 new songs in the studio, and he spent $25,000 on it. But he said it was for his son, and he doesn't regret it. You know, and I'm just like, that is how you build up your family. And then I thought about in the Black community how, you know, as soon as you're 17, 18, if you're still in the household, you know, you walk in the house sometimes, you might see a light bill sitting on your bed. If you're going to be here, you're going to have to pay some bill. You never get a chance to get that leg up. And I'm blessed because I never had that experience. I'm so blessed. My parents now, like if I'm 28, I can literally say, you know what? I don't know if Nashville is for me. And my mom would say, I have a room for you. Come back to the house. Yep. Like they've always supported me, and I've never had to be that person that had to grow up extremely fast and help in the household. And I think that's what gave me a leg up to really find myself and what I wanted to do. And they've always supported me. They supported me through both degrees and because they believed in me. And I'm like, you know, if more households were able to have those resources to do, because I know sometimes there are some families that they want to do that and they don't have the ability. So it's not always the case. But if we could multiply that tenfold in the Black community, we would take over. We would take over the world. We would be exponential in leadership and you know, making new discoveries and doing different things in science and technology and all of those things. I mean, we're doing it now, but in smaller steps.
Yeah. And I think that I don't want like this big takeover, because people get so nervous when you say, oh, you know, being pro-Black. Oh my God, what does that mean? Like you see all this different.
I don't mean like we're trying to invade.
I just want to, you know, and I think what you're trying to say, and that's why I'm going to try to expound. You want us to be able to come to the table and not have to bring our own chair. Our chair should be there at this world's meeting where we have a presence, where we have an audience.
Absolutely. They want us to make the parts. They want us to build the chair, paint the chair, bring the chair, and then explain how we got the chair. And then they don't trust it when we tell them. You know,
and then they want to take this hair from us because they know how to do it much better. But you can be,
and then say, look, guys, look what I made 10 times better, even though I didn't make it. Now the world is astonished.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe there's people of all races from all different communities that want to see, like, come on, think about the freedom riders, right? Not all of them were African American. Look at those who did the underground railroad. Not all of them were African American. There were people who said, you know what? I understand I have white privilege, and I'm about to use it. I'm about to help and open some doors. I understand that. Hey, I'm living over here in Asia, but see, I got this homeboy in New York. I know how to import, export. I'm gonna teach him so we can do business together. I got someone up in Africa. We gotta stop. I have this poem called "Invisible Wall," and that's what it's about. It goes through the different races of, like, if you ask me to touch my hair, I won't roll my eyes. If you don't grab your purse when I walk by, if you will teach me how your dollar has the longest running rotation, I won't be jealous because you only think Jesus was a prophet. I mean, it goes into all these different dynamics that divide us that are really just invisible. They're just ideas. There's nothing tangible about that. Yes, we have books for research and everything else, but there are certain communities who know how to do some great things. And my prayer is that you be the ones who want to speak up, the ones who want to advocate, the ones who want to be a part of the discussion, stand up. The only thing that's hard is that it may be new for your community. On Dedicated Journey, I posted Dedicated Journey is my other project. I hope you guys like it. It's a business page. It is set up for the continuous improvement of community and societal empowerment. And that it is worldwide. I have members that are in Africa. I have one member that's over in Asia. So it's not an experience that's just supposed to be local. But on there, I talk about, like, hey, it only takes one person. Anyone can change the world. I mean that. Anyone. All you gotta do is be willing to link up with this person, to link up with that person, to link up with this person, to link up with that person. But to get to that point, it starts with the family unit. Because don't no one want to work with someone who has poor work ethic, can't be on time, like habitually. Things happen in life. Things happen. But are not willing to put their best foot forward. How can, that's like me going to, like a banker and saying, yeah, I want to own a business, but I have no business proposal. I have not even considered what building I want. I have not considered a budget. I mean, like, how can someone sew into something like that? So that same type of experience, we have to do that with our family members. We have to do that on a greater level of society. But there's people around this world who want to see Black empowerment.
Right. Well,
definitely. Oh, that's a tough act to follow up. So
Yeah,
I'm going to do some closing statements like that too. So kind of back what I was saying, kind of what Retta was saying, meals make memories, and kind of what you said too about it's the food's an invitation, and I wholeheartedly believe in that too. I know my family believes in that, and we don't even take it just with the family dynamic. So I was in Atlanta last weekend, and there's a place called Poor Calvin's, and I could definitely say meals memory. So I definitely recommend this place. It's almost like Asian soul food fusion. So really, really good. I think right now we didn't need one, but might want to try to make a reservation. But we sat at a table next to this other family, and they were celebrating a birthday. And it was kind of, and they were allowed, and it was kind of joking around, but it was an invitation because then, because me being me, and then kind of with other people too, they invited us to the table, and I was joking around like that too, but we ended up having this conversation, and I ended up helping when one of them was leaving, helping her to her car down the steps and everything to make sure that she got there safely. So it's kind of like one in the family. And I think we definitely understate how food can be an invitation for anyone. And it's kind of sad. And my friend was talking about it last night too, because when we used to have family barbecues and cookouts and everything, he loved coming over there because his family wasn't the best, but he loved to see how my family was able to come together and have these times, and then whether it's playing dominoes, doing playing dominoes, eating, cooking out, watching whatever's on, playing with everybody. Because that's what he, to this day, and I remember he went to a couple, and this was almost 15 years ago, and it's still some of like his fondest memories. Just hanging out with my family, because one, his family didn't do that, and then two, seeing us all together and being able to see different family members, like especially like my mom, seeing her like in a different light, because my mom's a teacher. And he's always seen my mom as Mrs. Franklin, and this is what she does, and she's working, she's doing that, she has this commanding presence. So for seeing her loosen up with the family and doing stuff, and then my Uncle Richard playing dominoes, not paying attention, and my friend Josh, he thought I'm good at dominoes, and Richard has a drink in one hand, his kid on his lap, doing whatever, not really saying anything except 15. And Josh is like, what the heck? So so he always does that, but that's what it is too. So anytime he's by, he'll go up and ask my mom, like, hey, because even when I was gone in the military, he'd stop by my mom's house and be like, hey, like, how are you? How is this? Because he felt like a part of the family too. So that's definitely an invitation, and it definitely brings memories. And like I said too, with Pork Calvin's, it's a memory. It was great food, but what made it even better was the table, the party next to us, and my party was a party of only two, but they invited us over there. They ended up buying a drink, and then we were a part of that. So we kind of had like our little corner of the restaurant, and talking about the guy's birthday, and we were all up in his business about, because they were upset about how he wasn't ready to get married to this woman. So they ended up breaking up, and now this woman's now she's getting married, and now so we're all up in the business, learning at talking stories, finding out, oh, hey, how do you guys meet? Going back and forth. Where are you guys from? Like, oh, I'm from LA. Oh, LA, what's it over there? And and doing that. But that made the memory, and I'm glad that Pork Calvin's was able to have that atmosphere at a restaurant, but kind of bring that home atmosphere to the restaurant too. So now every time I go to Atlanta, I want to go to Pork Calvin's, because it was great food, and the atmosphere and the memories too. And then kind of what you said too, because I know 2019 was a bad year for me with family. Yeah, well, this was before 2020, because in 2019, the last part of it, I kept on having family members just pass away. So we had the funerals and everything too. And it was kind of like, which was good, because then during COVID, it was kind of like, hey, we can't meet only at these funerals. So my mom was kind of like, hey, we're gonna have like small little gatherings. We're gonna eat outside in her backyard. Come over, let's catch up to make sure that we're all right, and we all have this sanity too. And it was, and sometimes when she's able to, she cooked. Other times she catered, but it was still just that bring everybody in, because she took it upon herself to make sure that we were looking out for each other, or and that's what she did. She wanted to look out for everyone to make sure that, hey, you're okay. Hey, how's your sanity? What do you need to do? What do you need? And hey, even though we're going through this pandemic, if you're responsible, you always have a place here. And that's something that she brought, because it was from 2019 was horrible, but we should not get together only for the bad things. We need to get together just because.
Right. Oh, excuse me, man. I did not mean no. I don't mean to, like, I'm not trying to like break it down or anything, but no, like that takes me to like a conversation I was having with one of my my younger friends. I was like, man, honestly, matter of fact, no, I had this conversation when I did my my pre-deployment party or whatever, my little pre-deployment party. I was telling them, I was telling my friends over there, I was like, honestly, like our age group is now the ones that have to have the get-togethers. Like, we have to do it. Like, nobody else is going to do it. We are going to do it. Everybody else is like, now they're like older, you know what I'm saying? They're older now, you know what I'm saying? And like their ability to like bring themselves together might not be all the way there, but like we are the ones, we're the ones with the energy. We're the adults now. We're gonna have to bring people together. Like we have to have the outing. Like there's not gonna be outings made. Like you're not gonna be able to go, yo, so what's the move? Like there is no move if you don't make one. You know what I'm saying? We have to make it. We have to make that space available for people to come together. Like that's literally what I was telling them. Like whether you're paying for the food or so and so's buying the drinks, so and so's paying for the food, so and so it's gonna be at so and so's house though. Like like just piece it together, piecemeal it together, and like make it happen because we're all we got.
And that's definitely an area I know I can grow in. You know, as a writer, like, and I having so many different ailments, I go through these phases where, you know, I had to have a conversation with myself because I will go ghost. And I will go ghost just so that I can take care of myself and I can recharge. And I'm like having this whole Nirvana experience. And people are like, where did that girl go? But I have to do a better job of saying, you know what, for the next 2-3 weeks, I'm going through my moment of seclusion. If you're wondering where I am, this is what I'm doing. So that people won't think that, oh, no, she's just standoffish. I have got to have those moments. And I think, and I like what you said, Thrills, when you said, you know, how's your sanity? How are you? I think that as we come closer to each other as a family, we have got to see how, do I know this personality of this person? Do I really understand how this person functions, how they move, what's important? Do I understand them? Because asking questions like that helps you to understand that, you know, hey, no, Thrills loves us. He's just taking care of something right now. Or, you know what? He really needs to see us because he needs to be around human contact. You know, it's opening up for greater conversations. And it does that with a meal. My daddy and my grandpa, and I mean, we're all cooks in our family. And we used to get together for like 4th of July, Memorial Day. I mean, my Aunt Robin, boy, she would throw down her banana pudding. You know, you're about to get some good desserts. And, you know, my Aunt Rita, my Aunt Ro, they would all bring something. But you know what? Like you said, Smooth, my aunties and my uncles, they're now 60 and 70 years old. They have done their sowing of their seeds and they have showed us what to do. So it does take the younger people to say, okay, where we going? What we doing? Because when you look at it generationally, you start to think about how your elders have imparted in you. They have wrapped you around in prayer and love. Let them see some of that fruit of that prayer, you know?
Ooh. So with that being said, I think we should start beginning to wrap this one up.
Yeah. I thought we were. I forgot.
And I know it's very enjoyable. Don't worry. Invite me again.
No,
Give
definitely.
me an
I was definitely
invitation.
say that. Hopefully you come around. We love your poems. We love your insight. Everybody, you know, that experience, it brings it. There's not many people that could make us seemingly agree on everything and look at new perspectives of ourselves and each other. So we definitely appreciate that. We love the energy that you brought.
Absolutely.
And hopefully
we just be out here arguing, girl.
Yeah. And we're usually 50-50. I am devil's advocate because I can see everybody's side, and then I try to, you know, smooth and I would try to say, hey, let this other person talk and finish, but we have certain people, they cut people off, and then the argument.
But Al and I agree the most because he has common sense. He understands.
Yeah. So I mean, so it is one of those things, but yeah, just your energy, your passion, your insight, it's all amazing. Keep on doing what you're doing.
We loved it. You blessed us today, girl. For real.
You guys blessed me.
But
Thank you.
How can our listeners, our viewers, how can we support you? Like
yes. So you can email me at thededicatedjourney at gmail.com. You can also check out my page where my book is going to be available for purchase. I'm also on Amazon. So if you just put in Dear Reader with Love, my first book, published book, will come up as an ebook. It's going to be available on the website August the 31st. It's www.safari, SAFARI, Kujutali, which is Swahili for a dedicated journey. It's KU.
Byron, are you writing this down?
I literally just put it in the chat.
Oh, you did? Okay. So now all that great stuff is in the chat. Don't have to worry about it. Go follow the link, follow the comments, like my page on Facebook. I know people. Yeah.
I still wanted you to finish what you were saying. I was literally typing it as you were saying it, so
Oh.
I need you to finish so I can put the other thing that
Actually, no, that or
you know
Byron.
me,
No, just have her email it to you, and then
I'll put
you
it.
can
I'll
drop
put it
it.
in the description in the YouTube and all that other stuff. Yeah, just you can send it to me. You can send it to me.
Okay, all right, that sounds great.
But keep on saying it too, just in case too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
All of that. Give us
all
all the
of
things.
that. KUJITOLEA.company.a.site. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that my journey from Dear Reader kind of split into two different ways. Safari is my baby, and it will always talk about self-acceptance and self-esteem and the things that I struggle with medically. And now I'm happy to know that you guys share what you share, because now I know I have a broader audience that can learn from adversity, from different things. Dedicated Journey, that I founded it, but it, like, God just unfolded it. I am looking for social media managers. I do have interviews on Monday, so I cannot, like, if you go to the Dedicated Journey at gmail.com and you send me your resume, I'm willing to interview anyone. I'm looking for correspondence interns. I'm looking for associate editors. I'm looking for all different types of talent to join this journey, because dedicated just means that you're dedicated to a cause of advocacy. For me, I'm a Christian, so you will see Christian content. But if you are, Muslim, if you are Seventh-day Adventist, if you, well, that's still Christian, but if you are still whatever you are, or whatever you subscribe to, and that's how God has manifested himself to you, you're welcome. Like, we have to get past all this so we can get to these gifts, these talents, these skills, and make sure we're advocating for, communities that are underrepresented, underrepresented. We just do. We're here for a purpose. And it's not just my purpose. It's everybody's purpose. I ain't doing it by myself. No. And that's my spiel.
Any last words, Retta?
No, I was happy that I was able to make it for this podcast, because this was amazing. Super amazing.
Thank you. You're amazing.
That was it.
Thank
The
you.
next time each of you guys pass the mirror, I want you guys to look at the reflection, give yourself a shimmy, and blow a kiss, because you are brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I said, I am Typex Thrills. I said, like they said before, I'm doing this so I don't forget. To Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Probably gonna have to start a YouTube soon. Just to put out my other journeys of that, because I realize I have a lot of content I need to manifest so other people can see it. Thank you all for this opportunity. That, like Retta said, this is truly amazing. I'm glad Michelle was able to join us. And I'm gonna let Smooth close us out.
All right, y'all. So this has been another episode of Homeroom with Smooth. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. We are done. We're out. See y'all later.